Hello and welcome to Master Your Craft. I am your host, Cailean Coffey, and here is the show where we talk to some of Ireland's brightest minds over a nice pint of craft beer. Today we have a legendary hip-hop artist, Nealo, who started on the scene in 2018 with the release of his debut EP, October Years. From there, he developed into a staggering artist with a staggering repertoire and a fantastic discography, and on the eve of his debut album, he's here to chat to us about all things music. Welcome, Nealo. So, Nealo, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you? You alright?
Tipping along. So what's your first beer of choice?
I didn't do great today in terms of craft beers, but I got Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, the standard of all craft beers, I think it is.
Lovely. Yeah, no, I'd say so. What have I got? I've got Kinnagar Lime Beer.
Okay, yeah. Sticking with the Irish stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm trying to stick to it as much as I can, like.
Yeah.
But, it's from Donegal. Jeez. Yeah, no. I've tried a bunch of stuff now, and a lot of it's been really nice, like. Because I'm not a big beer drinker myself, like.
I always get given that in Christmas sets. You always get, like, like the glass and stuff as well.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I can't remember if I like it or not. I'd have to try it again, I think.
I'll tell you now.
Let me know if it's good.
I will indeed.
Oh, he's got them in a glass and everything.
I know. I got the Heineken glass robbed as everyone else's is, out from some bar in Kilkenny.
Oh, yeah.
So, when was the first time what was your first drink?
Ooh, first drink. Like, apart from a sup here and there, of a pint or something like that, I'd say my first time drinking was when I was about 13, was when I started drinking. I think I was in second year in school.
Okay.
And I had a free gaff. My parents were gone away. So I had a little party in my gaff. About 6 lads. And we went down and got Budweiser. Like, obviously, from Blanchard, like, we get a crate of Bud. Like, so we got that. We finished it. I'd say we had about 4 or 5 cans each, which is a lot for that age. Like, and then we started hitting the gin from the presses, like the spirits that were in the cabinet. Oh man, and it was like it turned into an episode of Fear Factor after that, where everybody's just puking everywhere. Like literally, like within, like it just turned like that. And I'll never forget it, man, because my sister came home, she was out, and there was literally just sick all over the gaff, and she's like, "What the hell's going on?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Somebody died.
Yeah, literally, like 6 lads just died. Like,
did you get it cleaned up in time before the folks came home, or?
Yeah, they never found out about that one. Anyway, I had a bigger one a few years later that they definitely found out about.
Tell me a little bit about that one.
About the bigger one? It was one of those ones that got a bit out of control. Like, it started off with like 30 people or something like that, and then like after later on in the night, like people that you didn't want there from the road started showing up, and like you was like only 15 or something, so you didn't really want to say no to certain lads, because like they might just give you a slap at your doorstep. You know what I mean? You're almost better off saying, like, right, come on in and being sound. And then like the gaff ended up being full of people, like, and the neighbours complained, and there was just like nobody wrecked it or anything, which was sound. Like, well, I definitely got in trouble. They found like bags of beer cans, and then someone had drawn, like, my mom was working for a secretarial company at the time. And someone had drawn a load of knobs on all their files and stuff. And she only found it, like, she found that about a month later. So I was in bed. Like, a month later, she came up freaking out, and I was like, "What? I didn't do anything." I later on found it was my mate Dicko that did it, so I was fuming at him.
And kind of, what was you obviously started off with Budweiser, but how did it kind of go from there? What did you kind of grow into drinking?
Alcohol-wise, I suppose I tried everything. Like, when I was young, we would have drank cider. Like, this is how old I am. Lidl had just opened when we were like starting to drink. Yeah. So we used to get the 2 litres, and they weren't IDing people because the shop was fresh. The staff were all new. They didn't know what
was going on.
Yeah, we just throw a few 2 litres of cider, a few flagons onto the thing, and they just scanned them through. They didn't have a beep that came up or anything like that. So we used to just drink those 2 litres, and then after that, I don't know, I probably moved on to just pints, like whatever was cheap. You know when you're you know when you start going into town and it's like literally, I'll just have whatever's €3.
It's how far the 5 will stretch, like.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas now it's a bit more refined. I'm like, I like a good pint of Guinness or a nice whiskey.
Yeah.
But I'll also, if something's cheap, like I'm not going to turn it down either, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So how did you kind of start making music? Obviously, by now everyone knows that you started off in the hard punk scene in Dublin. But how did you start off with an acoustic guitar? Did you ever, or was it always vocals?
It was actually piano I started off playing. My mum used to bake me down to piano lessons down in Harstown.
They're impossible. I hated piano lessons.
Did you go as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They're so difficult, like, there's nothing you can do.
So difficult, like. Yeah, I did up to grade 7. So I did a lot, like.
Jeez, fair play.
And then I gave up after that for years and years. So I have a piano now. I don't know beside me. I don't have so I need to start getting back into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first kind of taste of music. But I always loved music just from my mum used to play like Simon and Garfunkel in the car and like Don McLean and all that stuff. So I was always into music in that way. And then I got really into rock music when I was like, say 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Like I started a band with a few lads on the road, like just a pure mess. And like I don't think we were even able to play. I think one of us was able to play an instrument and like the other lads just couldn't do anything. We were all just standing there. You know what I mean? But,
oh man. What was your earliest on stage what was the earliest time you kind of performed in front of people?
I played at a Battle of the Bands in Ballymun in a place called the Axis Theatre, which was which it's still there. It's actually a deadly venue, but oh man, it's so rough. Like we were just like we would have been posh for Ballymun, like because we're from Clonsilla, so that's even posh for Ballymun. You know what I mean? So we were on stage, and I think my mate was wearing like a Che Guevara t-shirt. And you just hear from the crowd, like, go shag Shay, you fucking rocker. That kind of banter going back and forth. Like, I was good crack though. Like, I think we ended up getting to the final. I think we just brought lots of people from school.
Yeah, everyone just puts their hands up and vote kind of job.
Yeah. It wasn't the best band won or anything. It was like literally, we just had the most people. And then we got to the final and I think we got knocked out then. So we got 2 gigs out of it. Anyway, there were only 2 gigs. The only 2 we ever played.
In that kind of period, what was the worst kind of on-stage incident or kind of on-stage mistake? Everyone makes one, but
I'd say just forgetting songs. Like I don't remember anything in particular from that band, but I had many ones in the years after. Like I fell off stage. There's a video of me falling off stage over in Leeds. Which is pretty embarrassing. It's at a festival. Have you seen that now?
Yeah, I've done my digging. I watched a lot of frustration videos actually today, and it seems that everyone is just 3 lads up the front swinging arms.
Yeah, pretty much just baiting each other. Like, yeah. There's a lot, and then the thing is, the gigs are packed, but you don't see because like everybody just stays away from those 3 people. So I'm afraid. Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it's a mad type of music.
But how did it kind of go from Battle of the Bands to touring across Europe and across eventually the US numerous times? How did it kind of develop from there?
I suppose just like over the years and like through playing in different bands, like it just kind of got to that stage. You know what I mean? Like you start off like in a band in your state, and then like your tastes refine over the years to different kinds of music, and mine just got kind of like I always loved hip hop. Yeah, I started off in like, you know, like everybody does in heavy music, like with Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park and Blink-182 and all that stuff. And then I just got more and more into more punky stuff, and then heavier and heavier and heavier until like the scene is so small that it's like you could fit the whole scene in one venue. Do you know what I mean? Like that, sort of like the Irish hip hop scene. I mean, you could probably fit everybody in the Wooden Factory that really loves Irish hip hop. You know? Yeah. So I guess it just got to the stage where I was in like one of the bigger hardcore bands in Dublin, and then we just started booking our own tours, and then we got a booker, and they did it for us, and just kind of kept getting bigger and bigger until we decided to just call it a day, you know.
Yeah. So you've done festival in Leeds. You said in one interview that you went to play a show in Stockholm where your bathroom was a hole in the floor.
I think that might be in France or something. I'm trying to think. There was loads of. I've been at many holes in the floor bathrooms there. I just remember there's a lot of them in France. I know that in Paris there's a lot. Yeah, because we used to play in like, you know, squats outside Paris. Yeah, and you'd literally be squatting going for jacks.
What was kind of your favorite place to play?
I always loved Germany because they just looked after you so well.
Yeah.
Well, one, they love heavy music. Like, they love hardcore.
They do. They really do.
They love rap as well, but they love hardcore, and there's always loads of people at the gigs, and you'd always be like, you'd have as much beer as you could drink, basically. So I was happy with that. You know, when you're like 22, 23, you're just like, yeah, that's perfect. That's all you need. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, pretty much everyone starts off with how many pints can I get for playing this show, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah. I know.
And then you went to the US. I mean, what was that like?
It was amazing because we were touring with... So I lived in Canada when I was younger.
Yeah,
and then I came back. Then I came back and started Frustration after that.
Okay.
So we were touring with... Like, I had met a lot of guys when I was living there. We were touring with... they're from Seattle. So we linked up with them. We brought them over to Europe first to do a tour. And then they brought us over to America. So it was just bromance the whole time. And like, really got drunk every night just going and like driving across America. It was as good as it sounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and America was a very different place, I'd say, that like compared to now.
Yes, yeah. I mean, although, see, the thing about now is we only see the worst parts.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean? Like, I went, 3 years ago, me and my wife went on honeymoon in America, and it was grand. We didn't see one bad thing the whole time. Yeah. Everybody was lovely. We drove around the whole of the States, and nobody said a bad word to us, never seen any violence.
Yeah.
And so, I guess we just see the president now, and we see all the worst clips on Twitter and all that shit. Yeah. Obviously there's horrible stuff going down, but there's a lot going down in a lot of countries as well, you know. But they do have a fucked up police force. There's no doubt about that, you know. They really do.
Absolutely.
Like, even in my interactions with them in the past, like compared to the Canadian police, which are so much more friendly and personable, the American police are just very gun heavy and like authority driven, you know.
Yeah, even like, it's so kind of jarring when you get off a plane from Ireland and the first thing you see when you land at an airport anywhere in the US is this lad with about 6 shotguns hanging off his shoulder. I mean, how could you not be anything but terrified?
Oh, yeah.
And that's your first impression.
And even the way they talk to you as well, it's so like they're trying to one-up you at all times. You have to be lower.
Yeah. And it's mad how it taught it from such a young age. I mean, I was lucky enough to go to the States when I was, say, 11, and my mum was definitely said, just shut up, don't answer unless they ask you a question, don't say anything stupid. The way you'd kind of joke, like, everyone kind of, like, plays the bomb game in an airport when you're young.
Yeah.
You know? If you do that, you're literally gone, like...
Oh, right.
But no, it's insane. It's insane. But
I had a crazy one.
Go on.
I had a crazy one I was going over the border of Vancouver to Seattle. The first time I ever crossed over, I was with a couple of people that I had only met like a few weeks previous, and we were going down for a New Year's Eve party in Seattle.
Yeah,
and it's going through, and they were questioning everybody, and they just looked at my passport, and your man was like, "Oh, you did a J1 like a few years back." Yeah. And he was like, could you tell me about that? And I was like, oh yeah, I just went over to San Francisco. I didn't get a job. I ended up coming home early. And he was like, so you got a visa under false pretenses? And I was like, no. Like, if I wanted a holiday, I wouldn't have bothered my arse like paying for a J1 and doing all the interviews and all that shit. And he just couldn't understand like where I was coming from, you know?
Yeah.
And he gave me such a big lecture about, he was like, you have to have integrity in this world and all the shit like that. I was like, man, what are you talking about? Like, it's like, this is so stupid. Like, I'm a kid and I was on a J1, like, you know what I
mean? Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and a lot of Irish people's first experience in kind of the US is those J1 things where you work in a bar or wherever. And they can be quite jarring experiences if you're coming over compared to like colleges in Ireland. Like,
oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Like,
they're like polar opposites.
You're not a fully developed adult yet. You don't have a breeze about life. You're just going over and like, oh man, I don't think we even applied for jobs. I think we applied for like 3 jobs and we didn't get them. We're like, oh yeah, it's grand. We'll just fucking drink.
Exactly. 10 people in a house, 10 people in a room.
Yeah. Like that's where we were up in Berkeley, where that's where that the balcony thing happened.
Yeah, the balcony. Yeah.
That was like around, like obviously that was a few years later, but that was around the corner from where we were staying, and also that was that whole culture around there.
Yeah,
like 3 of us were staying in one room. It was nuts, like tiny little room.
Yeah. No, and speaking about even that that balcony, obviously. I mean, the way they painted the Irish was very negative, and everyone was kind of giving out about it at the time. But that's kind of the way they are. If they see a way that they can blame it and kind of simplify it into one kind of group or one kind of box, they'll do it immediately, everywhere.
That's media. That's media everywhere.
Exactly.
That's what they do. That's just what they do. Yeah.
So when a lot of people, exactly. When a lot of people kind of hear that you jumped from hard punk to hip hop, they're like, that makes no sense. To me, it makes total sense, because it's about the message rather than the music itself. It's kind of about the emotion, about the social message, and the two, like between hard punk and heavy metal and hip hop, they're quite similar kind of fan bases. They're all very close. Like I've never seen a kind of crowd than when I went to see Slipknot in Tree. I mean, they're the nicest people. If they'll throw you on the floor, but they'll pick you up. I mean,
100%. Yeah, it's all about like looking after each other and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Really
yeah. So
it's actually much more friendly than like if you go to see a hip hop gig, not an Irish one, but like say a big artist in Ireland,
Kendrick Lamar.
Like, something like that, or like J. Cole. I remember seeing I saw like 4 or 5 fights at J. Cole in the Tree Arena. And
I saw about 4 or 5 fights at Kendrick Lamar, and I'm like, come on, it's Kendrick Lamar. Like,
what he's doing, like. What he's actually doing, like, you know what I mean? Or Longitude, the same shit, you know?
Yeah, but Longitude is its own animal that we won't even get into. I mean, that's
definitely.
I think that's kind of made its own mistakes. But then, how did you stopped then frustration? You stopped that in 2015, and then you kind of took a few years out. And it was only until 2018 that you kind of released October Boys.
Yeah, I just. I don't know what I was doing then. I know I had started another band with a few other mates, and we were just kind of like, it was only a bit of a mess more so. Like we released a record and stuff, but it was more just for the crack. And then they ended up emigrating as well. So it was kind of a thing where like my whole friend group pretty much emigrated. Like my best mate was gone. I think 3 of the guys from Frustration went, and like just a lot of people at that time emigrated, you know. So it was kind of a time where I stagnated creatively, and was probably sessioning a lot, to be honest. Like probably doing a lot of drugs, probably drinking a lot, going out at the weekend, you know. I think if my wife wasn't around, I probably would have just gone. I definitely wouldn't have been like. I'd probably be still here, but I might be a bit more depressed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, absolutely. Just while you're on that point, what percentage of your friends that emigrated have kind of come back?
Oh, very few, man. Very few.
Really?
Like fucking maybe 20%, if even.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And that was pure. That was the recession. That was the start and midway through the recession that you kind of arrived.
Yeah. So I arrived back about 2009. Yeah. And I'd say people started emigrating before that, maybe a little bit before that, but more so over that 10-year period, really. Like, you know? Like, because it's still happening as well. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
The destination has changed to Berlin or London more so, or probably the 2 most popular ones now, or Canada still. Yeah,
compared to Australia and the US.
Yeah, that's kind of gone now a little bit. Australia is. I'm sure people still move there, but not as many, not in as big numbers anyway.
Yeah. So what did you kind of listen to hip hop wise to kind of get you into the creative zone to write your own stuff?
I'm trying to think. Like, I remember when I started off, I was like, I want to be like an Irish version of Isaiah Rashad. That's what was like. That's who I loved. Yeah. At the time, I still love him, but I don't really sound like that. I mean, it's not a million miles away, but like, it's not. It's very different. But like, I suppose when you take like inspiration from something, you're never going to sound like really like one thing. It's always going to be like yourself mixed with a bunch of other things, you know. Yeah. But I suppose what I always like, what really. Because I always listened to rap music, but what really like inspired me was like Isaiah Rashad, J. Cole, No Name, and now more so now like Navy Blue and Earl and Mavi and stuff like that as well. Yeah, that's the stuff that inspires me. Yeah.
And what's the biggest change you've kind of seen in hip hop since you started listening to it? I think it was, you said in a previous interview, it was your mum. Was it your mum that introduced you to Tupac, or was that someone else I was reading about?
No, my mom did the opposite. She took a Dr. Dre CD off me.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. She's not into rap at all.
No?
No, she's not. No, she's into like, she likes good music. Like, she likes Simon and Garfunkel and stuff like that. But, she's not really a big rap fan. Now, she likes my tunes. She does like it. But I think it's only because it's me, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what would you kind of have grown up with? A lot of Simon and Garfunkel, a lot of singer-songwriters, storytellers.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, that was it, really. And then my dad was into country music.
Okay.
Like Waylon Jennings, shit like that, Johnny Cash, stuff like that.
So it was a lot of the acoustic guitar around at the time.
Definitely, yeah. My dad had an acoustic in the gaff and stuff as well, so that helped too. I used to play that too as well.
Were you the type of kid to hide explicit CDs with the banner on it, you know? With the...
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Until it was grand to just have them around, you know?
Yeah. What was the first one you bought? That Dre CD?
That was up there. That was close, but I think the first one I would have bought... Did you ever hear TQ? Have you ever heard him?
I can't say I have, no.
He's got a song called West Side. It's like it was number 1 in Ireland actually, which is gas. So the first 2 CDs I bought was that TQ one. He's like an R&B kind of. He's like a mix between rap and R&B.
Okay.
And then the Offspring. Do you know the Offspring? They're the first 2 CDs I bought.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're not too bad. They're not the most embarrassing. Yeah. I've heard far more. What was my
first ever
CD?
gig was Craig David's. No.
Oh, fantastic! That's even better.
Yeah. What was your first CD?
My first CD was Sean Kingston, because that was a banging. That was a banging first album. Beautiful Girls was a banger.
Yeah, that's a great tune.
It's actually the only CD I have in the car still to this day.
No, wait, still?
Yeah.
Is it still the same one as well?
Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah.
No way.
It's never left.
That's brilliant.
And then the first, can't believe I'm saying this, but the first gig I went to was Westlife when they was in Crow Park, when they were supported by JLS and some girl band I never heard, and then Jedward. I don't know how Jedward made to Crow Park. Obviously, my music tastes were quite refined at the time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Sure, I remember going to Robbie Williams in like the Phoenix Park and shit as well.
I say Robbie Williams is sick.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, my sister loved him, so that was my excuse for going, you know. But I think when you're young, you love all that music anyway. There's a time and a place for everything. Like you don't,
absolutely,
you know, not everything has to be like this fucking really like intricate, like lyrical thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't need to tell a story. Sometimes I just want to dance.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes you just want a McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Ooh, Jesus, that's a good one. I really enjoyed Kendrick in the Tree Arena the last time he played. That was amazing. And then J. Cole played Vicar Street years ago, and with a full band, and it was fucking amazing. It was amazing.
I'd say that was good.
At the end of the gig, he went around and he was like, okay, who wants to hear, like, everybody put your hand up if you want to hear a song. And he took like 9 requests and just played them all at the end.
Jeez.
So that's how good it was, yeah. I'm trying to think of another. I used to go see Metallica when I was younger, and like the RDS and stuff, and all those gigs were amazing. Like they were fucking amazing. So yeah, probably those ones.
And what would you say was the most disappointing?
Freddie Gibbs is always good. Like, the most disappointing gig I've ever been to. I'm trying to think. Ooh, who's really bad live?
Oh, so many.
Sometimes, do you know what's really disappointing? When you go to a festival and like someone that you love is playing.
You were talking about Kendrick Lamar, are we?
And the sound, you know, when the sound is really bad, like at an outdoor festival. Yeah, that's always really disappointing, man, because it's like you're dying to see them, but the sound is just getting spread out, and it's like, oh, it's the worst.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything that I walked away from that was like, this is shite though.
Oh, really? You've never left a gig early?
I'm sure I have.
What was my worst? I've seen the Red Hot Chili Peppers when they played live in Reading, and they were awful. I walked away from that. I actually walked away from that. That was around, when was this? 2015, and I walked away from that, and I just happened to end up in a tent where Stormzy was playing Out of the Blue.
No way.
And it was just a bunch of lads from like Manchester and Leeds and Reading. Just all these lads.
That would have been before he was.
It was before the album, yeah. It was before the album.
Wow. And it was, so had even like Shut Up come out at that time, or? I
think Shut Up had come time. I think he'd played Longitude like that same summer. Yeah. Okay. That stuff had come out, but the album hadn't come out. So he was known, but he wasn't as as massive as he was. Well, he wasn't headlining anything, like he was playing the back. I think it was actually meant to be Skepta, but he cancelled last minute.
Right, okay.
But what else? The best I've ever been to was that same place. But Biffy Clyro are just insane.
Ooh, yeah, I saw Biffy in the Tree Arena, and it was so good.
They're incredible.
They're so good live, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Great band.
Incredible.
One of my mates has seen them like 40 times.
40?
He saw them like in the Button Factory at like a little acoustic show where there was 15 people there.
Jeez.
And then he's been following them like since they started, basically all the way through.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
Fair play to them.
Because they were around, man, before. They were on the club scene for years before.
They had some heavy stuff. Their early stuff is very heavy. But yeah, no, they've been around for years. It was only kind of after that Many of Horror album that it all kind of kicked off on them. Before then, maybe Puzzles before then. But another bad one was, and you're probably going to hate me for this, but Kendrick Lamar at EP last summer?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
He just didn't want to be there. It wasn't
his fault, though. I don't think it was his fault because it was piss and rain.
Yeah, it was the worst group ever. It was the worst audience who like his music in the rain to a bunch of white Irish people stuck in the middle of Leash.
And also, think about it, they're not really Kendrick fans. They just buy an EP ticket. Do you know what I mean?
They came for Billy.
So,
and he just happened to be there.
Yeah. And then, whereas you get it in the Tree Arena, and that's a different story because everybody's literally paying for him.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And the rain did not help, and the sound didn't help, and a lot it was just half-assed.
Absolutely.
Are we cracking another beer? Or?
Yeah, we'll crack another one. What do you got?
I'll check it out now. We'll say.
Take your time.
I have this. This is unreal. It's called Green Mountain Session IPA. Yeah, it's Hazy Vermont Session IPA.
Jeez. Is it nice? Where's it from?
Yeah. It's you can get it in Super Value.
Okay, happy days.
Yeah, it's lovely. $2.50 in Super Value. It's like I found it down the road in the Super Value recently, and I've been drinking them like nonstop. They're unreal.
Ideal. So let's kind of talk. Cheers.
You're still on the first one, right?
I haven't got another one. I've run out.
No way.
I'm not allowed to leave the house because of the old COVID.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think I'll get out of the house till February.
Are you fucking seriously bored?
I have a master's to do, but yes, I am so bored.
So have you can you go out for exercise? Even?
I can walk, but I have to stay at least like 5 meters away from people. So I go really early in the morning. I go at 7 and back in for 8, and then. Okay.
And you don't go out all during the day?
I'd go out, but I'd have to know well that there'd be no one there. You know what I kind of mean? Like I have my routes where I know I'll max meet 4 people.
Okay.
You know? Okay.
Well, that's very difficult, bro.
Yeah.
Like, by the time February comes around, you'll nearly be a whole year in the house. Like, that's fucking crazy.
I had to leave college early because I knew. Because to be fair, my mum is a doctor and my dad is an engineer, so she was on it since December. Like, so she knew it was coming. She was stocking up on Panadol and everything and vitamin D because that's meant to combat and stuff.
Yes.
So she was well aware of it. So I've kind of been. I left college 2 weeks or about 2 or 3 weeks before everything shut down. So I've been here since the start of March.
Wow.
Luckily, like we have a shed out the back where this is, so I can study here and stuff. And
so it's like your own kind of gaff almost.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I have.
Have you got an Xbox?
Got a PlayStation. I got a PlayStation. Got a TV.
What games are you playing?
I pretty much don't. I only play FIFA. Just just non-stop.
Online?
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of career mode. I've played a lot of career mode. But it's good. Like it's grand. Tried to watch a lot of movies. I'm gonna miss watching movies in the cinema. That's what I miss the most.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things I've missed the most as well. Like a pint of Guinness and films in the cinema. They're the two main things, and obviously gigs.
Of course, when you think about that.
Festivals as well, big time. Oh my god, festivals I miss the most. because it's such a release, you know, like you get 3 days to just go and do whatever you want. You know?
Yeah, and the world turns off, like, and you come back, and it's obviously chaos when you come back, and you regret going because you're so busy, but you have a good time.
Yeah, and you're fucked after the weekend as well.
Absolutely, yeah. No, absolutely.
Have you seen, so what good films have you watched? Are you a big film buff as well?
Yeah, I try to watch as much as I can. Like, I watched The King of Staten Island. I really enjoyed that now.
I watched that as well, yeah. It was good.
That was a really good movie.
I'd give it like an 8.
I'd give it an 8 too, yeah. It wasn't incredible, and it did go on a little bit too long. I think they could have cut 20, 25 minutes out of it.
They definitely
would have been a better movie.
Yeah.
But what did I watch?
Great story, though.
It is a great story, and the fact that it's so true, like the poor guy lost his dad. Like,
I didn't know that until the end. Actually, no. Yeah.
The poor lad, like, jeez.
Madness.
It's rough. Like, what else have I watched? I've watched all of Christopher Nolan's filmography again.
Oh, yeah. It's all phenomenal. Like.
Oh, it's all incredible. He hasn't made a bad movie.
What's the best one, do you think?
Inception is the best movie of all time. And I'll fight anyone.
I haven't seen that since the cinema. I need to watch that again.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
The way it's all... I love it.
Yeah,
I pay so much money to go see that in the cinema. Because I only saw it when it came out on DVD.
You have to be in the right frame of mind for it, right, to watch it.
You do. But you have to be in the right frame of mind for all of his movies anyway. Like,
that's true.
Not like you're going to run into Dunkirk expecting a comedy. Like,
that's true as well. Yeah, exactly. Where do you rate that in his best, Dunkirk?
I didn't. The more I watch it, the more I like it. I hated it at the start because I just thought there wasn't a storyline, and there was a storyline, but it was too difficult to convolute the time frames and everything like that. But I'd say I'd put it 4th maybe now.
Okay,
I really liked Memento.
That's a great film, man.
So what would your mine would be? Inception, Dark Knight, Memento.
Did he do Interstellar?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Interstellar.
That has to be.
Dunkirk, Memento. Then
I think for me, Interstellar is at top for me.
Really?
I think. Yeah. But now, like I'm saying, I haven't seen Inception in a long time, so that could change. That pint glass filled up again real quick there, didn't it?
Yeah, no, after... Whoa.
Give me a tap there. Give me a keg in that shit.
Don't tell the government. Jeez. It's just my only source of income.
Imagine you're actually lying and you have an elaborate set up in a pub.
Yeah.
Just there.
Exactly. I have my own distillery in the back.
I haven't left the gaff since March, and there's actually just a barman just pouring your pint there. You're actually green screen.
Yeah. But no, who would be your director of choice? Like, who's your favorite director? What's your favorite movie? So
my favorite 2 films are have you ever seen Wind River?
I haven't. What's it about?
It's this guy Taylor Sheridan, right? He's amazing. He writes and directs his films. So he did Sicario. Do you know Sicario? Yeah, so he did a film after Sicario called Hell or High Water. That's probably it's my favorite film in recent years. It's like Ben Foster and Chris Pine.
Okay.
And then Wind River has Jeremy Renner and a few other people in it. But it's just the way he directs and the way he writes. It's more his writing. It's like, it's hard to describe. It's like neo-noir Western shit. But like from now, you know?
Yeah.
Man, check out those 2 films, Hell or High Water and Wind River.
I will.
They're both
definitely.
I wish I could watch them again. I wish I could watch them for the first time.
For the first time again, yeah.
Yeah.
And what else? What else would you kind of watch? What would be kind of your genre of choice, if you will?
I do like westerns. I like Quentin Tarantino films a lot.
Yeah.
I watched Jackie Brown there today. I was watching that today.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
I've never seen that. I've never been one for Tarantino movies now myself.
Yeah. They're good. It's a good thing. Like, I'm not mad on the violence and shit, but it's the dialogue. He's like, writes dialogue really well.
Yeah.
And it's really entertaining and it flows really well. Doesn't it? Right? I'm trying to think what else. I love that Christopher Nolan Batman franchise. Like, that's
well, that's
untouchable,
incredible. Like, yeah.
It's
although
so
the third movie isn't great, it leaves a lot of question mark. Leaves a lot to be desired, but nonetheless,
I still like it a lot. I have a lot of time for it. You know, what else do I like? I'm trying to think. Yeah, loads of stuff.
What else would be your hobbies? Like, would you be a big sports person? Would you watch a lot of football?
No, I watch MMA. That's all really.
Okay.
Yeah. I do a bit of jiu-jitsu. I haven't trained since my baby was born though, but I was thinking of going back tomorrow.
But how did you get into that?
Into jiu-jitsu and stuff?
Yeah.
I think I always just loved like UFC and MMA and stuff.
Combat.
So I always used to watch it, and then I just started training because through friends from like the hardcore scene would have been really into jiu-jitsu and stuff, and some of them would have owned gyms. Yeah. And then two guys that I grew up with from my road in Clonsilla, they own a gym out in Blanche. Okay. So that's where I train now. And so that's where I'll be going back tomorrow. Fingers crossed. They just opened back up today, so
ideal. Happy days. Would it just be UFC, or would you ever go into watch boxing or anything like that? Or?
Like I like boxing a lot, but I don't have a love for it.
Yeah, you'd only watch the big kind of fights.
Yeah, only the big fights. Like if Tyson Fury and like AJ or someone was fighting, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
But I'm not. It's just boxing is padded, and there's a lot of shit in MMA as well. But like boxing is padded with like there's a lot of, I don't know, what would you call it?
Dirty dealings, like.
Dirty dealings, big time, yeah. And there's loads in MMA, but boxing, like the records are padded to fuck. Like it's crazy. Like these lads are fighting 20 bums before they get like a good fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. I'm sure it happens in MMA as well. But like MMA is a bit of a pure art form now because it's so quick and it's only three rounds, and you know there's way less rules. You can just go and fucking do your thing.
And, And who'd be your favorite kind of UFC fighter?
Obviously, I used to love McGregor, but then he turned into a dick. So
a prick.
Yeah. Like he was like, I loved him so much, but
really,
then like it just became too hard to.
At what point did it turn? Was it the punch your man in the pub, or well? Before?
No, it was way before that. Actually, it was when he jumped into their cage in Bellator in Dublin. I just didn't like the way he acted. Then it was like, he was running around acting like a dick, and it was just, I don't know. I just saw a different side of him that I hadn't seen before. You know what I mean?
And when do you think?
Sorry, go ahead.
When do you think that turn was? Was it after Aldo or?
Yeah, I think it was, like he was obviously like that during Aldo, and he's probably been like that his whole life. But it was just he acted sounder on camera and shit. And I think what happens to people is that they gain this level of celebrity. Like at one stage, he was one of the most famous people in the world. Like he was Kanye famous, you know. And I think when you get to that level, it's very hard to stay as just a real person because you're not living in the real world anymore. You're just not like the media is hounding you constantly. All you're surrounded by is yes man. It's like really hard to stay in check, I presume, you know.
Absolutely.
Now it's not excusing anything he's done. Like he's done some horrible things, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was in Forbidden Fruit. I was in one of the backstage areas, Forbidden Fruit, and he came in by the pub. And I felt so bad for the guy because the moment he kind of sets foot in a room, he just gets crowded out.
It's mob.
I mean, I remember watching a ton of people getting photos with him and trying to talk to him, and your man kind of escaped. I was kind of leaning against the wall. Kind of, what was I watching? I was watching Anderson .Paak or someone at the time. And he just happened to stand beside me. Like we had a chat, we had a hello, but that was it. But everyone else was kind of hounding around him, and his security guards were all over him. And it's just so difficult to have a conversation, you know. And it's so difficult to kind of build like even just a rapport with anyone or talk to anyone,
a friendship or
exactly. So
like,
I felt really bad.
You can only do it. Yeah, all that whole pub is like going out to a gig or a pub. That's all taken away. You can't go shopping. You can't do anything. You know, you just. But I suppose the other side of that is you make a lot of money and you can look after your family forever. Probably.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
it's not a fair trade-off. Like,
it's tough. It's tough. But anyway, we'll get back to music. You were talking. you were talking in an interview with Beta Da Silva, I believe it was in February of 2019. You said that there's a big difference in the Irish music scene between potential and product. You said that the scene at the time had a lot of potential, but that we need to stop. Oh no! I think it actually made an excellent point, and I think it's a point that everyone needs to listen to. Is the fact that you said yourself that we can't go around tapping or clapping everyone on the back for doing something kind of as simple as putting out a song. If you get me, as simple as putting out an EP, as putting out a project, you kind of have to start looking at the quality of the project. How do you think that's kind of developed in the year, 18 months since you kind of said that?
Yeah, I'd probably still agree with that. I think I was probably talking at the time from an uninformed perspective. I'd say I was making shit up as I went along, but like, because I'm finding like, so what did I say? Like that there's a difference between product and what quality,
potential.
Was it?
Potential.
Oh, potential and product. Yeah. Yes, well that's true, because a lot of people have potential. You know, there's a lot of, you can look around and see there's a lot of people that have potential, but you can have potential and be an amazing writer, and there's a difference between the amazing writers that never see the fruit of their potential, and then the ones that actually go ahead and release a big project. Because man, it's not just about writing a song, and a lot of people think it is, and it should be. In an ideal world, you should be able to write an amazing song or an amazing record, and it should be just taken as that. But how many amazing records have been made that nobody's ever heard? Do you know what I mean? Like, it happens all the time. I'm sure there's one written every day. So it's about having that kind of it's about drive, man. Like, it's about you make this music. Like, I made the record that I'm releasing this year. It was finished last year. It was finished in December last year, and all the songs were probably written months before that even. So it's taken a whole year nearly before that's going to see the light of day, you know? So like, there's a lot of shit that happens in that year that is just pure determination. It's like, okay, I want to get this sorted. I want to get this sorted, because I could just drop that tomorrow. But the only people who are going to hear it is like you, me, and a few other chaps. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you need to line everything up. It's like the perfect cut shot, you know? You
exactly. Have everything visuals. You have to package it for this world in terms and make sure that you want the most people to hear that. That's you're actually putting in all this work. You want people to fucking hear the thing. Do you know what I mean?
And does that frustrate you? The fact that you kind of need a product.
Oh yeah, because I'm not the best person for like getting visuals together. Like, I don't have that mind that just like is a real visual orientated mind. Yeah. Like me, I'm about words really. That's my thing. Music and words, and like, so you have to get a team on board then. Do you know what I mean? You have to get like a manager, a label, a fucking videography team, like all, you know, PR, like there's so much stuff.
There's so many components.
Like, publishing, fucking, sync agents, like crazy shit that you, like, I didn't even know what that was when I started. You know what I mean? People just think, oh yeah, you just upload it to Spotify and that's it. But it's not like, you know, it's not.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So how did it kind of go from releasing that October Boy EP in 2018 to kind of going to All the Leaves? And what was kind of the process between that?
I suppose I just dropped singles, man. I was just learning. Like, I was only new to the game, so I was trying to figure out how everything works, and I hadn't even found my sound yet, you know. And I still haven't really. I'm just trying to find it on the way along, you know. I suppose. Yeah, my thinking was just like, I'm just going to drop a few singles, see how it goes. And then I was like, fuck it. I was going to do an EP because I had 3 songs written and recorded. And then I was like, actually, you know what? I'm just going to put 2 of these on an album instead. Yeah. And then write the rest of that, because I had the right people around me. Like, I had like the guys in Inner Space and Yuli and Fikra and Adam and Molly and everybody. And they were all down to help me write an album. So, you know, you got to strike while the iron is hot.
Exactly.
I was like, fuck it. And it came out well. Like, it has a certain sound to it. Do you know what I mean? It has it's stamped for me in that period of time. And I'll always be able to put that out and be like, oh, that was a beautiful time in my life. You know what I mean? And I think people can hear it in the record that it just has this sound. Even though the songs are different, they sound the same, you know?
Yeah. So now is as good a time as any. So let's talk about the album itself. There was talk earlier in the kind of 2019 that it was going to be a spring release. Obviously, due to COVID and a number of different things, everything kind of got pushed back a good bit. We know you're working with Bobby Zatello on visuals at the moment. That's on Instagram. You can see that. But what kind of time frame are we looking for a release? Is it going to be an autumn or a winter?
Yeah, it's going to be autumn. I'd say late autumn. Like, obviously,
so October-ish. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're looking around then. So, October, November, but like not late in the year anyway. So I mean, it'll be like it's an autumn album. That's why it was like, that's why I kept it to then. Like, we could have released it in spring, but it doesn't sound like a spring or summer album at all. It's really like it's a really autumnal album. If you, I don't know, it just sounds like that. I don't know what it is about it. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly.
I love that time of year. Like, Halloween's my favorite time of year. I love everything about the way things are around then. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to releasing it. I'm just looking forward to just getting it out into the world.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Is it difficult to kind of have a project finished to kind of just be sitting on it? I mean, I can only imagine that listening to it over and over, kind of you keep going, oh, I could change that, oh, I could change this. I mean, you spend all year tinkering at it. How difficult is it kind of just to shove it away and go, no, I don't want to see that till October, or I don't want to see that till...
I listened to it today. Like, I have periods where, like, I won't listen to it for maybe a month, and then, or I might listen to one song or something, but I go back. Like, today I went back and just listened to the whole thing, and I was like, I was getting emotional, and I was like, yeah, that fucking still slaps. It's not gonna, I don't think that's gonna change. So, like, I'm just excited, but, like, it's hard because it is frustrating, like you said. But there's other things you can work on. Like, I'm working on music now, so it's not like, you know, it's not like that stops or anything when you finish an album. You always just keep going. And features for me are fun as well, because I'm like, I don't have to do any of the fucking the shit stuff. I just have to write, and you can do all the stuff. Like, so that's why, like, I have a lot of features still to come this year. Like, I've probably done like 7 or 8 in the last few months that haven't come out yet. So now some of them will never come out. Sometimes they just don't.
That's the game.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe half them will, and that's enough, you know.
Yeah, from what I've heard from people about the album, there is a lot of collaboration in it. There's a lot of other artists involved. How would you go into a collaborative process, saying, okay, let's work on a song? What would kind of be the process?
Well, I suppose before I go into that, like, it is a collaborative album, but it's like I wanted to specifically make it with the people that I've been making music with. I didn't want to, I didn't want to start pulling the big names in Irish hip hop and be like, this is who I want on the album. Do you know what I mean? Even though, like, I could have done that. Like, I could have went for Jafaris and Mango and people like that and been like I love all those artists so much.
Obviously.
I think there's a time where I will release music with them, but this was like, I don't know, I just wanted to work with the people that I've been working with and have that sound with. Do you know what I mean? So there was no times where it was like, I'm making a song with you. It was more like, okay, you're in the room in this session, or you sent me this piece of music. Like Adam Garrett, he wrote the whole album basically. Like he wrote all the music. And then Fiacra hops in for some songs, Yuli hops in for other songs, Molly and Genova hop in for some stuff, and that was it. There's nobody else on it, just those 4 or 5 people, you know. And it was all basically, do you know Adam Shanahan, My Fault? He
I know
did the Bobby Basil album. He produced the whole thing pretty much. So I used to go to his studio every single Wednesday and did that for about a year, and then at the end of it we had the album. You know, that was it really. So it was kind of who was there on the day and who was like involved in the writing, you know. Let's
kind of break down kind of that process and talk about some of collaborating with some of, or working with some of these artists in particular. One I'm really interested in because I love her work is Molly, because I think she's one of the strongest vocalists in Ireland. Doesn't get appreciated enough just due to the amount she releases and different bits and bobs. And but what's it kind of like working with that? I mean, she's an incredible writer, an incredible singer. What's it kind of like working with her in the studio?
The thing is, like, all these collaborations come from friendship first. Like, they're not forced in any way. They're always like,
they're not an industry thing.
Yeah, exactly. So me and Molly were mates before we started working together. So she was going out with a friend of mine, and we had met a bunch of times before that already. So I just said, here, come on in. Like, I had a different studio at that time. So she came in, we kind of got drunk and just like wrote a little, like, to a song, you know what I mean? And that was it. It was as easy as that. And then we probably went out to town, you know what I mean? And that, you know what, that became like the main song of the album, which is crazy. Like, that was literally from us being in a little studio on a laptop, being like, I was like, I have this song. And I think it was over a type beat first. and then we reformed it into something new.
Yeah.
And that just became the main song of the album. Like, it was mad because it's mad how that little informal session can become, something much bigger. So they're all super informal and friendly, more so than an industry thing,
How important were kind of Diffusion Lab and getting the album together and kind of getting it, kind of your work out there to the people?
Like, really important. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Like, even in the music side of things, like Martin from Diffusion, he was a fucking genius. He mixed and mastered everything. So he just takes everything and just gives it this, I don't know what he does to it, man, but like, he just makes music shine, it's mad. And then apart from that, like Ivan and Chris, like, they're just so supportive and helpful of everything. They don't try to fucking change you as an artist. They just say, go do your thing and we're here to support you.
Yeah.
They're not a major label. Like, they can't give you like huge fucking amounts of money.
They can't budget.
Yeah, they can give you enough, that
they give you a helping hand, like,
enough to make something happen,
Yeah.
I think that's all you need, like, especially in the scene we're in where everybody's willing to help each other out, like, that's what Bobby's doing for me with this video. Like, he's doing it at a really sound friends rate. That's like, he believes in me as an artist and I believe in him as a filmmaker, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how you get great art, is like, you have people that aren't just working for the cash, you know what I mean? It's like, someone believes in the project and they want to get behind it,
Yeah. And how important to you is that belief? I mean, it's very easy to go around the world and to be an artist and people kind of keep going and things aren't happening, bits and balls like that. But when you have the support of people like Ivan and Bobby and people are telling you they believe in you and helping you out with stuff, I mean, that must be very validating, to say the least.
It is, man. Yeah, it is, because like, this whole game is full of self-doubt, as you know, like anything creative is, even like putting out something like this is like full of self-doubt. I don't know what it is about this particular project. Is like, since Nealo started, like, I've had this belief since the first song I made that it was going to be something bigger, and every step along the way it's been validated by some recognition from someone outside. Like I remember I sent my EP to Nealo at the start, and like, I didn't think they were even going to fucking premiere it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have, like, I was like, there's no way. I'm nobody. They're not even going to look at it. Do you know what I mean?
It's just going to say an email.
Yeah, exactly. And they ended up writing something lovely about it. And like even that, I was like, I remember sitting in my car reading that and being like, fuck, I'm going to do something with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to do something big with this. And then every step along the way has just been another little validation. And until you start taking it for granted, and you're just like, I am the person. You know what I mean? Like,
I am the greatest. How could you not believe in me?
Nobody can stop me now.
Exactly. Obviously you've only been really doing hip hop, if I can call hip hop something you do, for kind of 2 or 2.5 years. I mean, you haven't. It's not like you're a Rebel Phoenix or a Paul Costello or someone who's been around for 10 plus years. I mean, it's happened very quick. Did you expect, if I had told you 2.5 years ago that you'd be releasing a debut album on a label where it's going to get listened to at the very least?
It's going to be listened to.
Would you have expected it?
I don't know. That's a really hard question, because it's like, I think I would have, because I think I had that belief. Do you know what I mean? I think because I went into it so old, and I had been around with so many other bands and done so many things, that I just had a different feeling with this project, So I think I would have believed you, I would have been still fucking happy about it. So I'd definitely be happy about it, But
I do.
There's a lot more to go. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, in Irish hip hop now, we're all just big fish in a small pond, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's a much wider pond there that we have to like
aim for.
Stick their ears in, dunk their heads under the water.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of people that would love this music around the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just don't get exposed to it because of the way the music industry is. Here, in particular in Ireland, it's very weak at picking up our own artists and pushing them worldwide.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's very difficult pushing inward. Everyone's kind of pushing inward towards their own fan base or their own readership rather than pushing it outward to people who haven't
like how big could Mango and Denise be worldwide? Like they could be big, man. Do you know what
Denise could be huge. Jafaris could be massive. Will be massive.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Will be. They both. They all will be. You know.
Yeah.
So we just have to. There's a lack of confidence in the Irish music industry in terms of a certain style of music. Like they always just go for the indie bands, a bunch of white lads with guitars just playing middle of the road shit that we've heard fucking a million times, and they're good at it. They are good at it.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. They're doing nothing wrong.
Yeah. They're not doing anything wrong. Exactly. But it's very easy not to do something wrong when you're shooting so fucking straight down the middle. You know what I mean? It's easy to hit the bullseye. You know? If you're doing something a little bit off the side, it's easy
track.
Yeah. Like how many rappers do we know out there that are shit and that sound cheesy and bad? You know what I mean? There's a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
But I think the music industry in Ireland hasn't found that hip hop has a voice here yet, and I think they will in the next few years. And by that time, it might be too late. You know what I mean? It just might be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you want to move to your next beer, or are you
I'm away on that one? But I can sing it real fast.
Cheers, man. Thanks for being so honest. I mean, a lot of people you kind of talk to, they're very good and scared of me.
That's me. So this is a saddle up for the session, boys. Right?
Oh, ideal.
I don't know what this is. It's Brewdog Dead Pony Club. Sounds all right. Like,
yeah, it doesn't sound bad. Like,
I kind of like the session ales because they don't blow the fucking head off you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't like the 9% torpedoes and shit.
These ones give you a place to breathe. Like they give you space to breathe. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're here for a long time, not for. Oh wait, we're here for
a good time.
Well, we're here for a good and a long time. Listen, we're not here for a short time.
We're not rushing anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Longevity is the name of the game.
I'm just kind of gonna go back very quickly to something you said again in the Beta interview. I've kind of listened to a few of your interviews with Shane, Beta, and a few people. You said, "We still hold the shackles of Catholic guilt a bit. We don't really break out of our boundaries." Could you kind of explain that quote a little bit? I feel like an English teacher kind of just saying quotes at you out of nowhere.
In my opinion, the root of a lot of Ireland's problems is rooted in religion, in how, like, we were one of the most religious countries in the whole world. You know, we were really up there in terms of Catholicism. Like, it was
terrifying.
You've often heard the phrase like the priest had more power than the guard. You know what I mean? Like, that was true. And like, even we see it in everything. We see it in, like,
no beer on Sunday.
Huh?
No beer on Sunday. I mean, isn't that one?
Well, that for a start. But like, I'm trying to think what we see it in. Like, it's in every facet of society.
The typical one is the Angelus, obviously. The fact that it's played over the radio.
Look at what was happening recently with the Me Too movement and sexual abuse in Ireland. This is all stemming from religion. Like, so they use the Bible to say that sex is a sin, and therefore you can only have sex in wedlock when you're creating a baby. Condoms were illegal. Women were like encouraged not to wear like dresses, shit like that.
Below the ankle, over the ankle, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what suppresses like sexuality. And when you have that suppression in society, it comes out in fucked up ways. Like, if you look at the church and all the abuse that went on, these were the people that were preaching to a woman and a man not to use a condom, and then they were like having sex with children. Like, that is just so fucked up. And like, they were the guardians of spirituality. Do you know what I mean? Like, spirituality is something so sacred that that's why I get my goat up so much about it, because I'm like, I'm a very spiritual person, but I hate organized religion. I'm like, because you can't say that if you prescribe to one dogma, it's just like, they're just flawed because men are flawed. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. It's like, it just pisses me off, and I get so frustrated that I can't get my words out. You know what I mean?
No, it's absolutely understandable. I mean,
but even in music, even in rap, right? I think this is the reason that Irish people look at each other and go, "Oh, you're a fucking idiot because you're rapping," or you know, you're trying to be American.
Yeah,
we don't like hearing our own voices. Like art, the church never liked art. They never liked poetry. They don't like stuff like that. And we still live in the shackles of that, because there's so many good artists that never came out of Ireland because they were afraid to let their voice out, because they'd be shamed by someone. Like, even when you're in school, if you like you were saying, you went to Slipknot, right? In my school, if you liked Slipknot, people stabbed you in the arse with a compass. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, you don't tell anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, I was a secret rocker for like my first few years in school, until I started like thinking that it was okay. Do you know what I mean? Because there was other people doing it. And it's this idea that you have to hurt people that are different, or you have to be afraid of them.
Yeah,
that's an ingrained Catholic guilt, and we're the kings of that. We just are in Ireland, you know.
Yeah, I think we're taught.
It's lovely to see us coming out of that with hip hop, or with movements like Black Lives Matter, like Me Too, like all that stuff. It's just lovely to see us breaking out of that boring fucking white person guilt of just like going to the pub and watching football. They're the only good things you can do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a whole world out there that you can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all different colours. It's all different voices. It's everything.
Yeah. I think for a long time in Ireland, we were kind of taught that our opinion, unless it came from a priest, or unless it came from a politician, or unless it came from someone in power, it wasn't really worth the paper it was written on, or worth the breaths you took to say it. And I think that's where a lot of kind of I can't listen to my own voice. I can't read. Like, once I write something, I never go back and read it. I mean, I couldn't do that. I just kind of share it on whatever, social media, and I forget about it, you know? Oh,
you have to go back and read it, because you have to edit it. Like, that's like, someone always said that the first draft of everything is always shit.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I go back and edit it and stuff, but once it's out there in the world, I wouldn't go back and especially with this, geez, I have all the podcasts that I've done downloaded on my iPod, but they're never going to get listened to.
Really?
No,
Is it that you don't like hearing your own voice?
I can't stand my own voice.
Really?
I hate my own voice. Yeah, I think it's too nasally.
There's nothing wrong with it, man. I didn't even notice. See, I didn't even notice that until you said it. There you go. Like, do you know what I mean? I think everybody has a certain hatred for their own voice.
Yeah.
You know?
But as a rapper, it must be difficult. I mean, you're pretty much listening to your own voice over and over.
But you change it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You change what you don't like about it, and you get better at it. Yeah. And like, you don't have to change your identity within that, or the sound of it, but tonally you change. Do you know what I mean? And it's well, the more you do something, the better you get at it as well. Yeah. It's like I go to rap now in the car. Like, if I do a song, like if I try to write a song tomorrow, the first thing that comes out is way better than the first thing that came out 2 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the natural progression of my voice is used to hitting certain notes, and it just sounds better now.
Yeah.
You know.
So how would you describe the change in your art and then the change in your voice between October and the album?
More confident, more
there's a sense of confidence there, all right.
Yeah, more the actual frequencies or something, or whatever, the gravelly bit of it is just sounds nicer from repetition. And I suppose what notes you can hit singing wise, like if you listen to October Year, the song, the singing at the end is woeful. It's so hard for me to listen to now. Yeah. And or even on Amaretto Lime, I'm like, oh god. If you compare that to Heart Food, it's like it's a way different. It's more of a confident and just a better singing voice. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just takes years. It's like anything; it takes years to. Yeah. Like, if you drink these for fucking 3 years, you're gonna be better at the third year at drinking them.
Exactly.
Anything.
I have October Boy written down. I'm so sorry if it's October year. I've been saying it wrong the whole way through.
October Boy. I'll change it to that.
Oh, do please. It'd make my life far easier. Obviously, you've become a father, I believe, in it was July of last year, so it's coming on a year. When was the first time you felt like a dad?
I think from the moment that I held him, really, like the first day. Obviously, it's a thing that gradually happens to you. But yeah, I felt ready for it as soon as I got him in my arms. You know what I mean? It's not like you get this, like everybody's like, oh, there's something switching.
Just click. Yeah.
It's not like that. Didn't really happen for me. It was just more of a gradual thing. You know what I mean? And you grow with it, and you live with it, and you learn to be better at it. Because I'm still learning how to be better at it. And being a good dad is not. It's not easy. It's it's very complicated. It's not even like I have a master's in law, and it's way harder than that. You know what I mean? Like
not only do you have a master's in law, you got 1-1 in your master's in law. Thank you very much. I mean, you're a smart man. Give yourself credit.
Thank you. Appreciate that, bro. Nobody's ever said that to me before. Not that you're smart, but you got a 1-1. I don't think anybody even knows that.
No, I know.
You know, you've done your research. It's not that easy, man. It's very difficult because it's like non-stop, and it's also you're sleep deprived. You got a relationship thrown in there as well. You have to teach them stuff without being too. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because I think that a good parent is probably someone that, and this is where all parents fall down. It's like they try to mold their child into some version of that they want or they see the world as, and it's really about letting your child grow in a certain way and just protecting it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Into whatever way they want. Yeah, but I love it, man. I love it so much. Like, it's great.
That's brilliant to hear.
Yeah,
it really is. So I'd say you had most of the album done by that stage, so there isn't really that kind of influence in it, but in kind of the stuff you've written since then, has it kind of influenced how you've been writing or what you've been writing about?
I haven't written like songs about him specifically, but he always pops into like a line or two. Do you know what I mean? You've probably noticed that in other songs as well. It just pops in because it's like a part of your life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because like my songs are weird. They're like, I don't write them about a certain topic necessarily. They're more like stream of consciousness stuff that just comes through the head. Yeah. And then I try to like make it make sense on paper, you know? Yeah. He's popped into a good few, but like I've yet to write a proper big song about him. You know? Yeah.
What music does he like? Like, what music does he like? Every kid every baby has a child music that they just bop their head to or smile at.
So he likes, his favorite two songs are Bruce Springsteen, I'm on Fire. Okay. And Baby Shark. There's
Baby Shark's a classic, man.
Yeah. Whatever it is about Baby Shark, they got the formula perfect for that song.
Yeah, you got to give them credit, to be fair. They perfected it.
100%, yeah. But if you put on I'm on Fire with Bruce Springsteen, he just chills out.
Really?
Literally, he could be crying, he'll stop crying and just sit there. It's gas. Like.
Is there any music he doesn't like?
No, I haven't noticed. He just won't pay attention to me. Yeah. He likes rap though. He likes hip hop. Definitely.
Okay. Good signs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So what's coming after the album? I suppose a lot of it kind of depends on COVID-19. I mean, nobody kind of knows when we're going to play a show again.
I know. I have one booked for like the album launch, you know? Yeah. And we just don't know if it's going to go ahead or not. So we kind of just have to keep our ear to the ground in terms of
Absolutely.
A lot of people are being a little bit maybe pessimistic about, like, there's a lot of people saying gigs aren't going to be happening next year even. So I don't know. Like, I don't believe that. I think we'll see.
I think they'll be back
this year.
Yeah. Decreased capacity, but I think we will see gigs of sorts.
Of sorts, yeah. I'm not driving ones either.
No. I have a ticket for that. I'm gonna go. It's gonna be an experience at the very least.
Gavin James one?
Yeah. The one in Kilkenny. Yeah.
I like Gavin James, man. He's cool. He seems like a cool guy.
He does, and he's actually the first person I ever interviewed. And he was a very nice man. Because I must have been shitting myself.
He seems like a gent, man. He really does.
He
like,
was.
He's funny.
He was, and his manager was lovely.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah. So hopefully now they're not awful. I don't know how they're going to do it. But it'll be an experience nonetheless. I figured, look, it might be the only time we do driving gigs, so may as well give it a crack.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I went to a drive-in film the other night, and it was good. Like,
what'd you go to?
This film called The Burbs. It's like an old Tom Hanks film from the 80s. It was on the RDS. It was good, man. There was only about like 7 cars there.
Really? How much was how much did it cost?
I think it was 16 each, so it was 32 for the car, and then we got a lot of food, and they deliver it to your car. Like, it's grand.
That's handy. Like,
yeah, food was shocking though.
That's ideal. How long when do you think you will go to the cinema next? Like,
it's open
not when
today.
they open. Do you think you'll go tomorrow? Like, would you feel comfortable going tomorrow?
That's a tough question. I love the cinema so much.
So do I. Once Tenet comes out, I'll just wrap my head in a scarf and just run.
Yeah, just go in a bubble like a Zorb.
Yes, exactly. Just roll up the stairs.
Could you get a visor or something and go in a visor?
It's not the people talking to me that would probably be the problem. It's the fact that I touch every surface, and I just wouldn't be able to not touch my face.
To relax.
Like, yeah.
You're almost just better off watching stuff at home. Yeah,
exactly. And the VOD stuff has worked. Like, they pay whatever 10 quid on Apple TV and get the movie for 48 hours or whatever. It's not the worst.
No, it's great. I'm gonna wait and see in terms of cinema. I don't know how I feel about it yet. And the same with the pub. Like, I'm not rushing back to the pub today or this week. I'm gonna see. Like, if someone asked me at the weekend to hang out, I might go. I don't know. You know, it's hard to say.
What do you think could be the last thing that will go back to normal for you?
I suppose gigs, like, and work. Like, my main job is pretty much decimated. Like, it's not
really.
Like, I walk dogs, so it's like a lot of people are working from home.
Yeah, so they walk there.
I was very confident at the start. I was like, shit, this is going to be okay. Like, I'm going to be all right. But, like, the more time that goes on, I'm like, this might not be okay, actually. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's just no one knows what work life looks like anymore. I suppose. Everyone's kind of leaving everyone at home.
Exactly.
Man, I think that's it. What's next after the album? Once we get back to gigs, once everything's back to normal, the album is out. What are you looking at starting from 2021, starting from scratch?
I want to hit like every festival on the whole world next year. Pretty much. That's like my main thing I want to do. I want to do at least like 10 festivals next year. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, do a lot of festivals and just play as many gigs as I can, man. Just have fun. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Write and play gigs. That's all I want to do. Those are the only 2 things, you know. And as long as I can look after my kid and my wife, that's all that matters, you know.
No, absolutely. On that lovely note, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time, man. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show. I hope you had a good fun. Like, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Nealo, thank you very much.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man.